April 9th, Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, passed away at age 99. A statement delivered by the Buckingham Palace was then released upon his death and stated, "It is with deep sorrow that Her Majesty, the Queen, announces the death of her beloved husband, His Royal Highness Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh." This is the first major death in the royal family since Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, passed away in 2002, and of course before that, Princess Diana was killed in a car accident in 1997. Because the prince is one of the highest ranking members of the royal family, strict protocols will surely be followed. Curious to see what can be expected with the death of a royal prince? Keep watching till the end of this video to find out the full details. Interact with us. Subscribe and hit the notification button to be notified when we upload more content. Don't forget to leave a like and comment below. Also, feel free to suggest any type of videos you would like to see on this channel. Thanks! Recently, Prince Philip had been experiencing heart issues and other ailments, including bladder infections. He had been out of the public eye for quite some time since he retired from his official palace duties in 2017. Philip, who would have celebrated his 100th birthday in June, spent England's third COVID lockdown with the Queen at Windsor, and in January, 2 of them received COVID-19 vaccinations. Toward the beginning of March 2021, the 99-year-old went through a heart procedure which required a stent to be placed in one of his arteries in St. Bartholomew's Hospital in the UK. He went through over a month in the clinic, resting and recovering, and got back to Windsor as soon as they felt it was safe to release him. So, what is the protocol when a member of the British royal family dies? Code names. First of all, royal relatives are each given a name to be utilized as a code word in case of their death. These code names are meant to be used so the family and the military are informed of a death before it leaks to the public. For instance, Prince Charles had a near-death ski accident and his code name was released at that time, which was Operation Menai Bridge, because he was assumed dead. The Queen Mother, who passed away in 2002, was referred to as Operation Tay Bridge. Prince Philip's death was referred to as Operation Forth Bridge for the occasion of his passing. And the current Queen's code will be Operation London Bridge when she passes. The public declaration of the death of a royal relative is given both face-to-face by means of a notification stuck to the entryways at Buckingham Palace and as a news flash released to the world's media. The Buckingham Palace website quickly changes its greeting page to a picture of the departed family member and includes the dates of their birth and their death against a dark foundation. The site is now showing recognition for the passing of Prince Philip. To report the passing to the public, news stations will largely turn dark on air as a sign of respect. Flags will be lowered to half-mast and TV reporters will wear black clothing and armbands as a sign of respect to the prince. Britain's official mourning period as a country will last for 8 days. This will include keeping the flags at half-staff, black clothing and armbands for TV presenters, and no new laws will be passed by the Parliament. What do the members of the royal family do? The royal family is always prepared for the death of royalty. They are expected to take dark garments and armbands with them when they travel, to be worn in case of someone of importance passing while they are away from the palace. They must arrive back home in black clothes and the armband to show they are mourning. The Queen, her children and grandchildren will also enter a time of grieving that will in this case last for 2 weeks. During this time, most official commitments will either be deferred or dropped, but are always at the Queen's discretion. Will there be a burial service? The Duke is qualified for a state memorial service, but this will be affected by the pandemic. In other circumstances, individuals would be allowed to go to Buckingham Palace and Windsor Castle and assemble outside upon the arrival of Philip's coffin and before his burial service. However, because of the pandemic, the royal family has asked that no one gathers in large groups before or during the funeral. The palace has confirmed that only 30 mourners will be present at the private funeral, which adheres to current Britain's COVID rules. In any case, Prince Philip has previously requested a straightforward basic memorial service as opposed to a great undertaking. Currently, the palace has confirmed that the Duke will lie in rest at Windsor Castle in accordance with his desires following his memorial service, which occurs at St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle. He will then be interred at the Royal Vault in St. George's Chapel. Tribute and flowers. Recognitions will flood in from around the world from presidents, leaders, heads of state, unfamiliar royals, and the military. Individuals from the general population, as a rule, leave flowers at the entryways of Buckingham Palace, and many have left accolades at the Sandringham as well. The palace has asked, however, that the public not leave floral tributes at the gates at this time. There will be no lying in state and no state memorial service for Philip as per his desires. Instead, just a small service with a small gathering not to exceed 30 people. Gun salutes are scheduled to take place with the Royal Navy leading the tribute and will fire 41 shots in his honor. Flags. The Royal Standard never flies at half-staff since it addresses the sovereign and the United Kingdom and is an image of the continuation of the government. It will remain at full staff. The Union banner will fly at half-staff over the Houses of Parliament and other key destinations. The Department for Digital, Culture, Media, and Sport is responsible for bringing down banners on government structures. Books of condolence. Books of sympathy would ordinarily be opened at certain regal homes, city centers all over the nation, and British government offices all throughout the world. However, because of the pandemic, the books have been set up online. Coffin at rest. Generally, the Duke's coffin would have been moved to the Chapel Royal at St. James's Palace to stay for private vigils. However, this is not likely to occur. The Queen withdrew to the Windsor Castle for the lockdown time frame, so it appears that private vigils will not be held in the Chapel Royal. The Queen and the royal family will offer their appreciation in private, as will family staff. Philip's children are probably going to hold a private vigil at some stage around the casket if limitations are granted. Who will lead the funeral arrangements? The person behind all the arrangements is Lord Chamberlain Baron Parker of Minsmere, who supervises courses of action following a royal passing and guarantees everything is kept to a strict schedule and all goes accurately as planned. Lord Parker just started the job on April 1st, having taken over from Earl Peel, who resigned on March 31st after almost 15 years as Lord Chamberlain. The Lord Chamberlain's office will be working non-stop on the courses of action. Normally based at Buckingham Palace, a group headed by the Queen's Controller, Lieutenant Colonel Michael Vernon, is entrusted with the practical side of arranging the day. From military watchmen and the church to the staff at Buckingham Palace and Windsor Castle, this group will guarantee the family keeps everything running smoothly. What the funeral may be like. Prince Philip has effectively mentioned that individuals do not make an object over his burial service and said it isn't required for his body to lie in state at Westminster Hall. Uncommon considering the Palace of Westminster is consistently on a 6-hour notice to set up the corridor for an occasion of this kind. Philip is obviously qualified for an enormous burial service as the Queen's partner of 73 years. Nonetheless, as per parliamentary archives, there is no official interaction for choosing when a state burial service ought to be held for an individual other than the sovereign. Philip's body would not be open for the public to see, and the memorial service will likely just incorporate his family, companions, and heads of state from Commonwealth nations. When will the funeral be? The service will be held on Saturday, April 17th at St. George's Chapel. As the Queen's associate, Prince Philip is qualified for a state memorial service. However, it is known that the sovereign has requested an understated affair. This implies he may not be given a full state memorial service, yet rather have a military burial service with private assistance at St. George's Chapel in Windsor and entombment in Frogmore Gardens. The last state memorial service for an imperial relative occurred in 1952 after the death of King George VI, who was covered in St. George's Chapel. The day of Prince Philip's burial service will probably get public news inclusion. However, cameras won't be allowed to film the actual service. Prince Philip will be remembered as an important member of the royal family, and his presence will be missed by his family and the British citizens. Although he requested a more casual celebration of his life, his funeral and burial will still be fit for a prince of his stature. Unfortunately, COVID protocols will likely curb some of the normal enthusiasm that would normally be presented with such an important passing. So, what do you find surprising about the funeral plans for Prince Philip? Should COVID prevent a larger funeral for such a royal member of the monarchy? Or should protocols be set aside on such an important day? Join the conversation and let us know your thoughts in the comment section below.